Okay. It is currently almost 6 o'clock in the morning on October what day is it? 3rd, 2019. So it has, by the time this video gets uploaded, it would have been over 24 hours, way over 24 hours, as a matter of fact, since we got the sentencing for Amber Guyger, one of which left many of us disappointed, but also not shocked at the same time. I think the only thing that was shocking was the fact that she actually was convicted of murder. But as many of you know, I did not jump for joy when I heard about her sentencing, not her sentencing, but her conviction. And a lot of people was asking me, oh, it's petty time, it's petty Pendergrass time. I said, no, we're going to wait to see what that sentence is looking like. And when I found out what the sentence was, I said, this will be no petty Pendergrass production. And it's very rare that I come on camera and show my face to actually do a story like this, except for when I'm doing my movie reviews. And that's really the only time y'all ever see my face. But this one, I said I have to let this be raw, uncut, not me reading from anything. This is like personally how I feel about the situation. And it's pretty much going to echo what a lot of other people feel. Yes, we know she got a conviction of being guilty of murder. That was just one step. But it was the sentencing that needed to be on par with the murder conviction, which it definitely was not. And I'm going to get into that. And I'm going to actually have this. It's going to be one video, but it's going to be broken up into two parts. The first part I'm going to talk about and address is the actual sentencing itself. The second part is going to be some stuff that I saw that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I think some of you know exactly where I'm headed with that. So with the sentencing, it came down to that Amber Guyger will be sentenced to 10 years, or has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. That's nothing. Now I'm hearing that she got, or she may be possibly only have to do 5 years. I'm hearing things that because she didn't get parole, she's gonna have to do the entire 10. I'm hearing she might be in general population, which if that is the case, I hope that she is in general population, because that's exactly where she needs to be. And I'm hearing a whole bunch of things right now. So it's like it's all just one big colluded mess right now. It's like none of it is really clicking as of right now. We just know that she got sentenced to 10 years in prison, which should have been more. And I said they completely what they did wrong was they lowballed the sentencing. What I mean was, or the sentencing range. They said 5 to 99 years. It should not have started at 5 years. I said what it should have happened is it should have started at like for me, I said for 40 years at the least, to 99 being the most, if they were going to go to 99 years. 40, I think for a lot of people would have been satisfactory, because 40 years is a long time, even if she was eligible for parole. But what I'm hearing is that because she got found guilty of murder, it would have been hard for her to not only appeal that, but also get parole. So she would have had to serve the entire 40. But see, with this one, is 10 years. What's 10 years? She's 31 now. That means that she serves the entire 10 years, she'll be out when she's 41. She'll still be young. She'll still be fresh. She probably won't most likely get hired by that department again, but she could probably still find a job elsewhere. And that's the point. And she could just go into hiding and we will never hear from her again. I had found out that Amber Guyger is the first female cop to ever be convicted of murder. I'm not sure if it's in the state of Texas or in the city of Dallas. It's one of those two. That means that there has been so many other Amber Geigers out there before her, and there will be plenty of more out there after her. Look at Betty Shelby. She killed Terrence Crutcher in cold blood, and that bitch did not, and that droopy face heifer did not face 1 day in jail. As a matter of fact, they rewarded her to the high heavens when when she was pretty much found not guilty. She ended up not only getting a new job, but she didn't, because I don't think she got her old job back. Maybe she did, I'm not sure. She also got an advancement was invited to do speaking engagements on how to deal with situations like she was in. They basically put her in the victim seat and put Terrence Crutcher in the hot seat as if he was the perpetrator, as if he was the one that was completely involved for the reason as to why what happened to him happened to him. And they were trying to do the same thing with Amber Guyger with the whole castle doctrine thing. Remember, they brought that up on the first day. It was like the castle doctrine does not apply because she was not in her castle. She was in his castle, in his domain, where he pays the rent, where where he lays his head. That's what they were trying to go with, but then they shut that down immediately. And it's crazy because, I said that Amber Guyger got a misdemeanor sentencing for a felony charge, a felony conviction, because now it's not just a charge anymore, it's a conviction. She got a misdemeanor sentencing for a felony conviction. It's so many people behind bars now on false accusations, marijuana charges, who got way more years than this chick did. If you remember, in the next state over, in Louisiana, the neighboring state, there were 2 black cops that were involved in a shooting where you had this white guy driving his car and led them on a high-speed chase with his 6-year-old son in the front. Now, they did not know he was in the front, but when they finally pulled him over and tried to get him to detain him, and while he was not following orders like Palm Color likes to say we don't do, what does he do? Try to use his vehicle as a weapon. Tries to back up into one of the cops. So what did the cop have to do? He had to shoot into the back of the mirror and through the back of the mirror to stop him. Because at that point, the driver used his vehicle as a weapon. Now what happened was he went around the car and then he saw that the driver was okay, but then he noticed it was someone in the front seat. And it was that 6-year-old boy, Jeremy Martis. Now, why did you have your child out there that late at night on a high-speed chase? And he was in the front seat when he should have been in the back seat. Because he was so short and because he can't see his head over the top of the headrest, the cop who shot through that window did not know there was nobody else in the car. There was anybody else in the car with this guy. So the bullets, I think, I'm not sure. I think the bullets probably went through his head or went to his head or something like that. Ended up killing the boy. So who gets held responsible for this? I'll give you a hint. Not the dad. The 2 black cops that were there got held fully responsible for this. Not the dad who led him on a high-speed chase. Not the dad that had his son in the front seat of a car during a high-speed chase. And that literally caused the death of his son. That was completely his fault. That was not the cop's fault because they didn't know he was there. They were there to detain the dad. And what ends up happening is both of those guys get sentenced to like 40 plus years in prison. And they sentenced them fast. Like, this was a very fast trial. They didn't even waste no time. And I said, it's amazing. They got the years that Amber Guyger should have at least got. If they wanted to fire those guys for what happened or put them on death duty, I would have understood that because it was just an accident. But they gave them 40 plus years for something they didn't do. And guess what happened to the dad? The dad didn't have any charges brought up on him. And if he did, they were very low level to the point where they could have equaled out to him getting maybe probation. What did they get the dad on the following year? Domestic violence charges with his then girlfriend. I'm not sure if he's still with her now. And that still didn't equal out to the amount of years that he should have got. He should have gotten a lot of charges that night, but he didn't. Because he ultimately caused the death of his own son. But those 2 guys got years. And one of them I found out, I think to be true, that they said he was having a sexual, I guess you could say, relationship with whoever the dad was with at the time or something like that. Because I think they said that he knew him from, I guess from things that they heard about him. And then they tried to throw some stuff on there because of that. I said, well, in that case, they should have did the same thing with Amber Guyger, because was she not sleeping with her partner who was married with children? And all of that came out in the case. All of that came out during the trial. All of that. They thought they deleted those messages because, that was the last person that she was talking to when all of that went down. But they didn't. I guess they just left it alone. And they also, speaking of her partner, they need to go after that Martin Rivera guy because, he killed an unarmed black man back in 2007. And whoever was over that, they need to look into that as well. But yeah, she got, like I said, she got a low-level sentencing for a high-level crime. She literally broke into this man's apartment and decided that she was going to take it upon herself to kill this man because she thought it was hers, and she gave so many excuses. All of them fell flat because all of them were lies. Then, of course, I was reading through the comment section, and of course, you had Palm Colored sitting there talking about, oh, okay, that was a good sentence. That was a good sentence, and all of this stuff like that. Listen, that was a bare minimum and mediocre sentencing. But what do you expect from a bare minimum and mediocre group of people? Point blank, period. That was their full acceptance of that. Because they want pins and needles this entire time. But that's it. It is what it is. I'm sorry, y'all, if I keep adjusting the camera. It feels like it keeps sliding. But that's pretty much it as far as me discussing the sentencing portion of it, because I can't even bring myself to be completely and utterly mad about this. Now, the part that I'm about to talk about is the part that pissed me off. And it is a couple of things that rubbed me the wrong way. One, that video that I saw of that bailiff, I'm guessing that was the bailiff. It was a black woman who went into high levels of mammyism. And I actually recorded a video about it, and I'm going to still upload it, even though I'm talking about it right now. But in that one, you'll actually see the actual action in place. But in case y'all don't know what I'm talking about, you had this black bailiff who, right after Amber Guyger got sentenced, decided that she was going to go over and caress her hair or fix her hair, play in her hair, whatever. I'm like, this chick just got found guilty of murder of another black man, and you as a black woman decided to go over there and pet this woman's hair and rub your hands through it and rub your fingers through it. Bitch, are you crazy? And some people either didn't catch that or they saw nothing wrong with it. If you didn't catch it, then I'm going to need you to go back and watch it. And if you saw it and you see nothing wrong with it, then you need your head examined. Like, it looked like some straight up plantation shit that happened in that scenario right there when I saw that. And I didn't see that in the live feed. I saw it on Tariq's page, and I was like, oh. But it doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me, because you're talking about a sector from a sector of women who would run out to go and get hair that does not even match their texture. So it probably was a field day for her to rub her hands through Amber Guyger's hair to try to imagine, what kind of wig am I going to get now? Maybe it'll feel like the texture of Amber Guyger. I wonder if the shoe was on the other foot and you were the cop that went and busted and you killed, say, a white guy, would, say if Amber Guyger was the bailiff, would she come over and let alone tap your shoulder or anything like that, or even touch you? I've never seen nothing like that before in my life for a court proceeding, ever. I hope to never see it again either, because that shit was disgusting and it was disturbing at the same time. But what was worse than that, oh yes, there was a worse part, was Botham Jean's brother. When I saw that shit, I wanted to reach through my screen and cyber falcon punch him in the throat when I saw that. So in case y'all don't know what happened, After, like, when they were doing the sentencing phase, they still had spoke to some people that knew Amber. I think they had her sister up there. They had people up there who knew Botham. I think they had his friend up there. But when it got to the part where, I think they had his mother up there too. When it got to the part where they were talking to his brother, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was in a tone of as if he was more on the side of Amber Guyger. Like, he was saying that he doesn't believe she should get any jail time, that she is remorseful for what she did. I'm like, you actually fell for those crocodile tears. Realize who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a guy who is not ADOS because his family is from St. Lucia. They are heavily religious, and we're going to get onto that part too. And the way he was talking about her, it almost came off in a simping kind of way, as if he would jump into Amber Guyger's pants right now. And damn near probably did with what he did after he got off of the stand, but we'll get to that. But when I saw what he said, I'm like, this bitch literally just got convicted of murder of your brother in his apartment. And your words were, in so many words, that she should not get any jail time. That you feel bad for her. That you forgive her. Which, by the way, his mother forgave her right after he was murdered last year, in case y'all forgot, because I didn't forget. One thing you don't want to do is piss off someone with a damn good photographic memory. That would be me. But anyway, he said all of that, but what he did after that is he literally did a beeline from around that bench and ran. Like he was in that movie Get Out, like this. Y'all remember the movie Get Out? To run and hug Amber Guyger like she was a friend that he hadn't seen in years, and was hugging her tight. Like, if you look at the video, almost like he didn't want to let go. She's crying in his arms, and he said something to her. I don't know what it was. And as far as if he thought that he had a chance with her, Amber Guyger's the type of person that messes around with married men. Apparently, that's her type. And apparently, they got to be Hispanic or Mexican or what have you. Like, she's literally getting her Nicole Murphy on right now. Those of you who know about Nicole Murphy get the reference. But seeing that absolutely disgusted me. But then that also plays into that religious aspect. See, this is another reason why I do not subscribe to religion, at least anymore. Especially organized religion, and especially Christianity. Because that shit teaches you to forgive, and forgive some more when there's no need for you to forgive. And then you'll have the Bible thumpers that will come out of the woodwork and try to convince you that you're wrong if you don't forgive the person who's done you wrong. And speaking of Bible thumping, I heard that Judge Tammy Kemp had gave her a Bible or something like that, or gave her a hug. I don't know what it is about hugging these murderers. I don't know what it is. Because they would not get a hug, let alone a touch from a 10-foot pole from me. It just wouldn't happen. But that religion thing was one of the worst things that could have happened or fell upon us. And that's all mental right there. Like I've always said, there was physical parts of slavery and there were mental parts, but they had to make sure the mental parts stayed. And that's one of the mental parts that stayed around and is still here to this day. Unfortunately. They say, oh, we got to forgive Amber. We got to forget. I ain't forgiving that bitch. It's a shame that people who are not attached to the John family, like myself and you watching, have more sympathy for the victim than the family does, apparently. Because when they start talking like that, it's like you completely disregard your brother or your son or whoever, how he was related to you, and you give more sympathy to this chick, all in the name of Christianity and religion and forgiving and all that shit. I'm not forgiving. I would never. Y'all might as well. No, that Amber Guyger could go out to Botham's grave right now and shit and piss all over it, and y'all would still find a way to forgive her for doing that. That's how much religion has really destroyed I guess you could say, the black diaspora, those who subscribe to it anyway. But people keep saying, oh, well, this is why they keep doing things they keep doing to us because of stuff like that. I wish there was a way that it could just happen to them. That way they can realize that all this forgiveness, it's not enough forgiveness in the world that could bring your loved one back, especially when they've been murdered like that. And it doesn't surprise me, because if you remember what happened with Dylan Roof in that church, the first thing them families did was get on camera and forgive him. Literally, like the day after it happened. Publicly. That's literally dog whistle language. Like, you're literally sending out a signal to everybody watching that you are allowed to come into my house, quote unquote, and hurt me again. It may not even be me directly. It'll probably be somebody else. So that's why I did not jump out the window with a Petty Pendergrass production like people thought I would. I said, no, I'm going to wait till the sentencing. And if it is what I want it to be, then that's what you'll get. And if not, then it won't be, but you'll still get a video, which is happening right now. You're getting a video. And I didn't have to come on here and yell. I didn't have to come on here and be mad or upset. You can tell by my tone that it's one of disappointment. And it should be. As a black man in this establishment, I should be disappointed. I have every right to be. I'm not shocked or surprised by what happened, but it just lets you it puts everything into perspective, if it hasn't already, where your place is in this society. You really have no friends. I don't know if you've never heard that before, but it's a common phrase amongst ADOS. We have no friends. Don't think that just because they look like you that they are your friend either. Because those could probably be some of the worst ones. Mainly because they walk amongst you. But the only person I feel bad for in this situation is the one, unfortunately, in the grave. Botham John. As far as his family goes, good luck in your future and whatnot. They probably gonna get some money after this. It is what it is. But when they're on that forgiveness tip, especially after this chick murdered your loved one the way that she did, I can't compete with that. And I refuse to. Like, that literally shuts the whole support system down. And it's crazy because Botham John is non-ADOS, but we rally behind him as if he was. Well, rally behind his family anyway. But now we can pull back that support. They are on their own right now. It seems like they have conceded and have accepted the sentencing that Amber has received because they've forgiven her. Well, the brother has. So that's it. This chapter is officially closed now. We can move on to the next thing. And I have a feeling that it's going to pan out the same exact way. But this pretty much concludes my video on this whole Amber Guyger sentencing thing. And this is like pretty much the last words I will probably give about this, unless something happens to this chick and she happens to walk into the wrong cell with the prison that she's in, or unless she gets out in a few years and there happens to be a squad of some sort that is there to greet her when she's walking out. Then I'll come back again and I'll probably do a Petty Pendergrass production behind that. But other than that, I have no more words involving Amber Guyger, and Botham Jean. Rest in peace to that man, though. And I mean that. As for Amber Guyger, I hope the worst happens to her. And it doesn't matter how it happens, as long as it does. And to his family, we were rooting for you. But apparently, you did not hear us cheering for you. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.